One of my most anticipated games for the PS4 in 2020 was Predator Hunting Grounds. Now, IllFonic is the team behind the game, and they of course are known for Friday the 13th, which between the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch version, I put well over 200 hours into. Sure, it was definitely rough around the edges, but it was so much fun to play as a counselor trying to escape Jason, or as Jason trying to kill the counselors, that you kept wanting to play it over and over again, just one more round. So in my mind, Predator Hunting Ground was going to be awesome. Sure, it would be a little bit different, but with the added development time of the game and just focusing on one console, I thought this will be a pretty polished experience that will probably bring some new things to the table. Well, Predator Hunting Ground had an open beta this weekend. The game comes out in less than a month and wow, something has gone terribly wrong with this game. What's up guys, I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about Predator Hunting Grounds and why this game is just an absolute mess. So Predator Hunting Grounds is a 4-on-1 game based on an online infrastructure. Of course, 4 people play as human characters and 1 person plays as the Predator. So similar to Friday the 13th and how it was 7 camp counselors against 1 Jason Voorhees. Now, one thing I do like about the game is the customization level for both the humans and the Predator. Now, in the full version of the game, humans will have 4 classes, but you can only play as 3 of them in the beta. Now, the Predator has 3 different classes and you can only play as 1 of them in the beta. Each class has its own strengths and weaknesses, of course, but I just went with the Assault class for the human character. Basically, the Assault class is the well-rounded character, good guns, and of course good movement speed, whereas there's a heavy gunner who moves a bit slower, and then someone who moves a bit faster but has weaker guns. You have a bunch of different weapons at your disposal, and you can customize the look of the weapons and the look of your character. You can do all sorts of things like cosmetics, such as different face paints and different attire to make your human character stand out, and you can do the same thing with the Predator. You also unlock different attachments for your weapons as well the more you play with these weapons, such as better red dot sights and different sorts of muzzles, and there's a perk system as well, so it's kind of like a Call of Duty style game in a first-person perspective when you're playing as a human character. The Predator also has different perks and weapons that you unlock as you play throughout the game and level up your character, so that's pretty cool as well, as it does keep you wanting to sort of see what else you can unlock for these characters. You also get these things called field lockers, which are essentially loot boxes as you level up. You get different cosmetics for your characters and different weapon skins. If you're out of these loot boxes and for some reason you want to do more of them, you actually have an in-game currency that you can use as well to unlock more of these field lockers. Honestly, I didn't really care about the field lockers because I don't really care about things like weapon skins and stuff like that, but people who are into stuff like that will find a bunch of different skins that you can unlock. Now, playing as a human character, you are with 3 other people and you're dropped into a jungle-like setting map. I don't know if there's going to be more maps in the game. I assume there will be, but everything I researched online didn't really lead me to believe that there would be a whole bunch of maps, so I'm just taking this on the surface level with just this one map. You basically choose your drop point on the level, and then you have missions to complete on the map. The missions mostly consist of things like finding data, killing a certain NPC that's on the level, planting bombs, basic things like that. Now, of course, while you're trying to accomplish these missions, the Predator is also trying to kill you. There's a lot of AI NPC characters that you come across in the game, but honestly, they're dumb as hell. Like, the enemy characters have no real common sense and are very easily disposed of. Their weapons don't seem to do any real sort of major damage to you either, so it's very easy to avoid them. Most of the missions are basic things that just have you holding down the square button and then trying to defend an area for a set amount of time. Now, completing all of the missions in the level will then give you an evacuation point in which you can escape via helicopter. Get to the chopper! Or, of course, you can escape by killing the Predator. Each match has a timer of 15 minutes as opposed to the 30-minute timer with Friday the 13th, so these matches do go by a bit faster. Now, one thing I did like about the Predator Hunting Grounds that they added in is that if a teammate of yours is killed by an AI or a Predator, and the Predator doesn't do a finishing move on this character, you can actually go to a point on the map and bring them back into the action, which is pretty cool. So if you don't want to waste all of your XP that you've earned from playing the matches, you can just simply wait around and hope that your teammate characters will go to this point to revive you. Now, most of my time I spent with this game, I played as the human character, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But playing as a human character honestly feels like a late PS3 or maybe early PS4 first-person shooter. You run, you slide, you shoot, you know, pretty basic stuff. The shooting in the game feels okay, but since you are shooting mostly NPCs, it's honestly kind of boring. Movement is very janky, and that is because of the frame rate of the game is just honestly all over the place. When you're running around before coming to an enemy base, it's honestly fine, it feels pretty smooth and solid. But once the action starts to happen, it dips super low and it's just absolutely noticeable. There's pop-up all over the place, and like I said, the AA is dumb as bricks and will do things like just run away randomly in a firefight, or everyone will crowd in a little area, just making it like shooting fish in a barrel. And since these AI characters don't really do much damage to you, it's just kind of weird to see all these AI characters coming out from the woodwork, and then you're just blasting through them, and it's like, where's the fun? Where's the satisfaction? When the Predator comes into play during this time frame, the frame rate gets even worse because he, of course, is moving faster than everyone else does, and it really just becomes a big confusing mess of both trying to shoot the Predator and the AI characters. Speaking of the Predator, he's really easy to kill as well. In all the matches that I played, the Predator only killed everyone in the mission once, and that was just because my teammates were just not very good. Most of the matches that I played, I escaped either via the helicopter after completing the missions on our team, or just by killing the Predator. Now the Predator can self-destruct or not once being down, and if he doesn't, you have to protect the body for a minute or two, and then the match is over as the body will be evacuated. So the matches are a lot faster than Friday the 13th, which I suppose is a good thing. But like I said, I've played over 200 hours of Friday the 13th on the PS4 and the Switch, and I think I killed Jason like one time. Whereas the Predator in this game is just so damn easy to kill, so it really takes away that fear and tension that Friday the 13th brought. So why is the Predator so easy to kill then? Because honestly, playing as the Predator just kinda sucks. The Predator's main movement system in Predator Hunting Grounds is via parkour through the trees, and you can run around through the treetops, which is kind of fun, but honestly the control isn't very good, and it feels like an early Assassin's Creed game in how your character moves. Playing as the Predator, you have two main advantages over the human characters, with the ability to use things like thermal vision to see NPCs and humans on the map, and the ability to just become invisible. You unlock more stuff for the Predator, but the baseline Predator is absolute crap, with just a shoulder gun that isn't very accurate at all, and a melee attack that takes forever to do any real sort of damage. If you're playing against a team of human characters that is somewhat competent at first-person shooter games, they'll honestly just light your ass up before you can do any real damage or kill them, which really just took the fun out of being the Predator for me. Once again, the horrible frame rate plays a huge role with things being slow and just janky as hell, and it's especially glitchy when playing as the Predator because sometimes the parkour stuff just doesn't work out as well. You can do a large leap, which is kinda neat I guess, but I used it mostly to just sort of get out of situations. I think my best round of playing as the Predator, I killed 2 out of the 4 human characters, as playing as the Predator just isn't very intuitive or fun at all. I loved playing as Jason, or going up against Jason, because Jason was just this strong-ass character who, even if someone was playing as him sucked, they could still get a kill or 2 because of his strength, whereas the Predator just feels weak and paltry in comparison. I think one of the main things about comparing the Predator to the Friday the 13th game is just how the film franchises are perceived. Friday the 13th has always been sort of a B-movie franchise. It was always campy, it was always rough around the edges, but it was just sort of silly fun. Whereas the Predator films have always been more AAA big blockbuster titles, and this game just doesn't feel like a AAA blockbuster title. Now sure, it is only a $40 game when it releases, but this beta just exposes so many problems to the fundamental gameplay of Predator Hunting Grounds that I think it's going to turn off a lot more people than it will turn on to this game. It's just not very fun, and the performance of the game is just so choppy that I don't see how they'll be able to fix everything in that department before launching in less than just a month. It honestly feels like a shoddy free-to-play game and not a $40 game. There's also no offline play aside from training missions, and the poor online code just makes this game a huge disappointment. Considering this is an only online game, you would think that the frame rate would be nice and smooth so that you could enjoy playing as the Predator or as the human characters. But as it stands now, Predator Hunting Grounds is just a garbled mess of just a bad game, and I don't really see how this game will improve anytime soon. Alright, so suffice to say, Predator Hunting Grounds is not a game I'm going to be buying anymore. I honestly was really looking forward to this game. Like I said in this video, I am a huge fan of Friday the 13th, so I expected this game to be sort of, you know, building upon that sort of core gameplay, but just expanding upon it more, as the Predator can do a lot more than Jason Voorhees can do. But really, they just messed this up so bad. The frame rate issues and just the graphics in general are just so low quality that it really hampers the gameplay. I'm not a a frame rate whore by any stretch of the imagination. As long as everything is pretty smooth, I'm having a good time. But the way that the frame rate is just so inconsistent and so all over the place when you're playing as either a human character or especially as a Predator, it just takes the fun out of the game for me. I honestly was really looking forward to Predator Hunting Grounds, but now I'm just going to be saving that $40 and spending it on something else because this beta just exposed so many flaws in the core fundamental gameplay that I don't see how this is going to be a good game when it comes out. But let me know in the comments section down below if you ended up playing the Predator Hunting Grounds open beta this weekend, and if maybe you had a better experience than I did, because, well, it just wasn't a very fun game for me. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Be sure to check out other videos on the channel, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.